Have you been wanting to start a YouTube channel, but your biggest roadblock is that you really don't want to show your face? If that's the case, I have the perfect solution for you. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can start and grow a successful faceless YouTube channel. So you're probably wondering, what is a faceless YouTube channel? Now, it's really not a new phenomenon. It's just grown in popularity because a lot of people have referred to it as YouTube automation, which is essentially where you have a channel that you don't show your face. You're pretty much just using either stock images or stock videos, or a combination of the two, and you're using either your voice or somebody else's voice to narrate the entire video. You probably don't even realize you watch faceless YouTube videos. Like, I watch a lot of, or I listen to a lot of like meditation videos. Those are usually faceless, sometimes, not all the time, or even like motivational videos. So those are two good examples of like niches of faceless YouTube channels that tend to grow exponentially or tend to get really big. But the best part is that people can create and manage these channels without showing their face, which is a lot of people's biggest barrier of entry when it comes to YouTube. I know it's a big fear that people don't want to show their face, and that's not to say that I didn't go through that, but I think I'm just a little bit more used to, I guess, some type of like public attention, because I did like used to play professional basketball, so like I always had eyeballs on me. So, and I think the reason why faceless YouTube channels are starting to blow up is because the creator economy is also starting to blow up. And if you don't know what the creator economy is, it's basically just like all the people that are like content creators and influencers and things like that. So with that being said, there's people that are trying to find ways to enter the creator economy but may not necessarily be comfortable with showing their face. So faceless channels are a great way to enter the market. Now, the first step into creating a faceless channel is that you need to choose a niche. Now, everybody says this, and it is true because you really do, especially with faceless channels. I would say with channels where you're showing your face, you can be a little bit more diverse or flexible, because people do want to hear about you sometimes. But obviously, if you're not showing your face, then they're not really putting a face to your voice per se. So you have to choose a niche. So some of the niches I have listed here are tech reviews, motivation, as I said earlier, motivation and meditation, study with me videos. I think those videos are so mind-blowing because it's literally a person sitting in the front of the computer, and music, they're not even showing their face, they're not even showing their body, they might just be showing their hands, and they will have like a 4, 5, 6 hour study session, and it will have like, these videos will have like millions of views. Like, it's the craziest thing. And I'm just like, if I was in college right now, I would definitely do study with me videos, because you're literally sitting there studying, doing what you have to do, and blowing up on YouTube at the same time. Like, it's nuts. But anyway, that's another niche that you can choose. Video games, news, and real estate tours. So real estate in general, I used to do a lot of like real estate tours on another channel, and that's another niche that you could get into. So you can pretty much pick what you're interested in, you know, with the concept in mind that you won't be showing your face, but you know, having the idea of what you will be showing on screen that will be captivating. But it's just crazy how like some of these videos don't have to necessarily be captivating. They could just be like very soothing, like the study with me videos and the meditation videos. They could just be like soothing videos, and people will listen to them for a different reason. Now, step 2 is that you have to create scripts. Now, when it comes to scripts, they don't get any different from a faceless channel versus a channel that does show a face. So like when I create my videos, sometimes I will write out scripts word for word, or sometimes I will do bullet points. And it's pretty much the same thing for a faceless channel. Faceless channels, they are definitely a lot easier to follow if you're doing word for word scripts, because nobody's watching you read these words. Whereas though, like if I'm showing my face, you don't necessarily want to see me reading words, even though sometimes I am. In this video, I'm not reading words though, so I'm working on using bullet points to make it more conversational. But anyway, if you are doing word for word scripts, they're probably better for faceless videos, because again, nobody's seeing you read them. Or if you don't want to read them, you can have somebody else read them. So yeah, when you're writing your scripts, you still have to conduct your research and figure out what videos would be appealing to your audience. You want to do some competitor research and figure out like what people, you know, the type of video you want to make, and then like what people are actually putting on screen. Like, look at your successful competitors and see like what images that they're putting on screen, what videos that they're putting on screen, how their audio sounds, if they're making certain cuts. So I'm a big fan of competitor research, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to make some tweaks to make it better if you can. And as I said, you can do you can write out your scripts word for word. This is probably the most time consuming part in the process because, you know, the more you prep ahead of time, writing out word for word scripts, it does take longer, but it does kind of make the post-production process easier, meaning the editing. So like, since you're reading word for word, you're probably gonna mess up. You're probably not gonna mess up as much as you would if you didn't have some type of outline to follow. But another thing, a really good tip is that now that we have technology, AI, you can create scripts using those programs. So 2 programs that I really like are Jasper. I have personally used Jasper. I use Jasper for some of my blogs, but you can also use something like ChatGPT, which is really good. So those are 2 softwares that can help you write your scripts. Now, don't go crazy and expect them to write the whole script, because as I keep mentioning in my videos, that like, we can't just totally depend on AI. Technology isn't 100%, but we can use technology to enhance the things that we're doing, to enhance the content that we're producing. So use these programs to get ideas on the scripts that you want to write, and some, you know, use them to help you write your scripts, but don't use them to totally write your scripts, because they probably wouldn't even sound, you know, natural to you and your tonation and everything like that. As you guys can tell, I'm losing my voice, but I'm still pushing out these videos because that's what we do as YouTubers. We bang them out, So step 3 is that you need to record your audio. So recording audio, as I said before, you can use your own voice, or you can hire someone to do it, or again, there is software that can help you say the words. It's so creepy. Like, you can literally give software a script, and the software will basically say the script for you. It's really weird, and you could choose people's different voices. That is something that's very interesting. But if you want to do that, there is a software that you can use. I personally haven't used this feature in the software, but it's called Descript. I'll leave a link down to that below. I think that's a really good software. I've used it for transcription, but it will definitely help you when it comes to your audio. So the next thing you have to do is, obviously, you have to record. Now, when it comes to faceless channels, a huge portion of faceless channels is B-roll, which is basically that footage that you see that is like stock footage typically. So you definitely want to have either a program that you're using to get licensed stock images and videos, because you don't want to get a copyright strike with YouTube. Same thing with audio too. If you're going to use sound, you need to use copyright, you know, licensed sounds, so you don't get any copyright strikes on YouTube. I'm not sure if you guys just heard that thunder. It's about to thunder here in Jersey. So you'll have to have those stock images and videos ready, and obviously you'll have to have screen recording software if you're going to be recording yourself. I use Camtasia. I'll leave a link to that down below as well. I think that's the best screen recording software. It's really easy to kind of navigate and like record your screen using Camtasia, so I would recommend that. Or you can also use animated videos. There are a lot of softwares that I've noticed that have been coming out, but it's like a sketch, so you can check out those programs. I don't know what they're called, but there's a bunch of them, and they seem pretty inexpensive. And if you build a channel around like those animated videos, I mean, that's probably like a huge time saver and a huge money saver, because they seem pretty simple. And another thing you'll have to do when you're recording these videos is include a lot of text, because if you're not showing your face, again, you have to do things that will visually capture your audience. So you have to use other facets of a video to gain their attention, or to keep their attention, I should say. So you might include text to emphasize certain points on screen. So just keep that in mind. Now, the next thing you have to do is obviously edit your footage if it's not perfect and clear cut. You definitely want to edit it. You can do it yourself, or you can hire somebody, which I'm a big fan of hiring people, even though sometimes once in a while I'll edit my own video, but it's not often. Now that I'm getting back into the flow of things, I don't want to edit. It's the most time consuming aside from scripting, but it depends on what kind of budget that you're working with. If you want to do the editing yourself or hire somebody else. Now, I used to use only Premiere Pro, but the 2 main programs were really Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro, but there's so many different like editors now, especially online editors, that will give you the opportunity to make easy, quick, and simple cuts to your videos. So you just do some research and try to find some good ones with that. Or some of, like, if you have a screen recording software, you might be able to edit, you should be able to edit videos in your screen recording software. Like, I know with Camtasia, I'm able to record my, capture my screen and record it, and also edit my videos in there. And it's pretty similar. It's not Adobe Premiere Pro, but it's pretty similar, as in, like, it allows me to cut very precisely into certain clips, which is what I really like. So it really just depends on what you're looking to do, but I would try to look for like an all-in-one program where I could like record my screen and also edit, because it's just easier that way instead of trying to find 2 different programs. Or as I said, you can just hire somebody off of Fiverr or Upwork or onlinejobs.ph and just get an editor to do it for you. That's the easiest way to do it, but you're either gonna use your time or you're gonna use your money. Choose one. And if you guys are liking this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And drop a comment down below and let me know if you are thinking about starting a Faceless YouTube channel, or if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel at all in general. Now, some things to keep in mind, and I wanted to write these things down in particular when you're starting a YouTube channel, is that usually a person's face and their body movement captures attention more often than it would like a faceless channel, like a stock image or a stock video, because you tend to feel, as humans, we want to feel connected. So if you're looking at a person versus like someone that you know is not, like, you're hearing a voice but you know they don't match the same person on screen, it's just a bit of a disconnect. So you kind of have to work harder in your faceless videos to capture attention than you would in like a video that you're showing your face, because that's just how we are, like, in nature. Like, we want to connect with other humans, and that's the whole reason why it's kind of easier to build a brand if you are showing your face versus then not showing your face. But either way, it's possible. So you'll need to consider different things that'll help keep your audience attention, like constant scene changes, like, cutting in, cutting out, just a bunch of different changes in the video to just keep their attention. You'll definitely need a whole lot of stock images, sound effects, emphasizing points on screen with text, and like I said, you can use software to help you do that, like the Descript software that I mentioned. Now, the next thing you have to do is you have to create a thumbnail, and your thumbnail has to really be appealing, especially if you're not going to show your face in the thumbnail. And I would assume if you're not showing your face in your video, then you're probably not showing it in your thumbnail. So just try to make it as visually appealing as possible. And of course, that'll involve a stock image. You can use software like Canva, because Canva has like YouTube templates of thumbnails that you can actually use to get started. And I really love templates because it gives you like a starting point and allows you to kind of get your creative juices flowing. You probably don't want to use the exact template, but it'll get your juices flowing to kind of get an idea of what you do want to include in your thumbnail. Or if you want, you can maybe screenshot a portion of the video and then use that to create a thumbnail. And there is a program that you're able to do. You can do that on Canva, or you can use TubeBuddy, which is what I also use. I love TubeBuddy. It helps me. I use it more so for like keyword metrics and everything like that. But there are tools in TubeBuddy that can help you also make your thumbnail. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link to that down below. But again, I use it for like competitor research and doing like looking at analytics and stuff like that. So, but you want to do competitor research to pretty much get inspiration of what your competitors are doing, because that'll help you understand what people are actually clicking on, what people are responding to. And as I mentioned before, I love competitor research because it basically helps you not reinvent the wheel. Now, this should be the easiest part, because in a lot of YouTube channels that show their face, this is a hard part because you're finally exposing yourself, you're finally putting yourself out there, and sometimes you might record a video but you may not post it. But if you're doing a faceless channel, then this should be the easiest part. So hit that post button or hit that publish button and get your video out there. And of course, do not forget the promotion part along with it, because if you don't promote your videos, then they won't get out to the public as much as they probably need to. So you want to have like a promotion strategy, kind of, whether that be like posting it on social media, like, Instagram and Facebook. You could do the thing where, you're taking clips of your video and posting it on different outlets. But the thing with that is that that's another form of editing and another process that you'll have to figure out. But if you are willing to do that, that's a great way to get exposure to your videos. You could also join Facebook groups and try to promote your videos in there. Now you do have to do it in a strategic way, as in like you can't spam Facebook groups, but if there are topics that people are talking about that relate to your video, you could use it as a reference that they can get information from your video for that topic. You could promote it to an email list if you have an email list. Most people probably don't have an email list, but you should start building one, which is what I'm going to start doing soon on my channel. So you'll get to see a first-hand view of how I'm able to do that. And of course, you want to add calls to actions to your videos at the end of the video, basically pointing people to watch the next video, like in a playlist or on your channel, so like they kind of stay in a loop of watching videos on your channel. And I forget if it's when you reach monetization, but there is a point where you do get access to your community on YouTube, where you can basically make posts and like post images and then kind of lead them to your video at that point. I think that's a great strategy that I'm starting to implement as well, but you do need to pass a certain threshold. I forgot what it is, but if you do know, drop that in the comments below for other people. And last but not least, you do need to have some optimization and growth strategies, because it's not just about posting videos, but you have to post them the right way. Guys, I'm losing my voice right now. Now let's talk about some ways that you can optimize your channel. So people should know exactly what you do when they click onto your page. Point blank period. They should be able to see your banner and see exactly what your page is about. They should be able to see your channel trailer. I don't even have a channel trailer, so in this case, do as I say, not as I do. But I'm working on that, because your trailer should give people an idea of exactly what your channel is about. You should definitely have a complete about me section. And you should have updated thumbnails for even older videos. If you do already have a channel, just update those thumbnails, and that's something I'm also going to be working on. You also want to put your videos in playlists. This will make it easier for people to pretty much go down the rabbit hole. So if they click on one of your playlists and it keeps showing other videos that you've created that obviously are valuable to them, then they're going to keep watching and they're going to stay on your channel, and you're going to get more views, more revenue, and everything like that. Obviously, you always want to provide high quality content, and when it comes to faceless channels, the best high quality videos will probably be the videos with the best audio, and probably like the best, the most captivating or the most informational videos. And of course, you want to make high quality content. You want to make sure that you have your info cards and end screens. You want to make sure like those videos in your info cards and end screens are relevant to the current video, because that's how people will click into the loophole per se. And you also want to utilize software, as I mentioned before, like TubeBuddy, where you're able to kind of analyze the keywords. You're able to kind of see competitors a little bit easier. You're able to kind of basically create a YouTube strategy within this software, and it just really makes things a lot easier. There's a lot of things that TubeBuddy really helps me do, and a lot of things that I like about this software. As I mentioned, it helps with keyword research. It helps with like your productivity, so it helps you kind of schedule things in a specific order. I mean, you can schedule things on YouTube too, so but you'll see the differences between the two. You're able to A/B test thumbnails, which is really helpful. And that's important, because one thumbnail might do better than another, but you may not know unless you test it. And thumbnails are huge when it comes to YouTube success. But what caught my eye in particular about this software is that you can do, there's a bulk processing feature where it basically allows you to find and replace certain like text or titles and descriptions in your videos, because I have videos from like months and years ago that I want to like edit the text on, but I thought I was gonna have to do that individually. But with TubeBuddy, I'm gonna be able to do it on a bulk level, basically one and done type of thing. So that's really helpful for me. And they also give you automated checklists for best practices. So if you're a beginner, you don't necessarily know what you're doing, it'll give you an audit checklist of like, hey, you should be doing this, make sure this is checked off, etc. So it's really helpful in that sense. But this isn't a TubeBuddy commercial, so we're gonna move on. So let's talk about some pros and cons to a faceless YouTube channel. I'm looking at my monitor, I'm looking at my camera, I'm looking at my, what's this called, laptop? I'm all over the place. So one of the pros about the faceless route is that you can pretty much avoid criticism, and that's one of the main things that scares people from getting started on YouTube in the first place is because if you show your face, you're gonna face criticism. Somebody might call you ugly. I mean, we're all ugly to somebody in the world, right? But we're also beautiful to others. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You get what I'm trying to say. But the fact of the matter is, if you're doing a faceless channel, you can definitely avoid criticism a lot easier than if you were showing your face. Showing your face obviously exposes you to more people for them to say whatever they want and to judge you. It's just the world that we live in. But did you know around 75% of the world population has a fear of public speaking? And that is actually called glossophobia. It's kind of funny because I'm no exception to that rule. I definitely have a fear of speaking in public, but I do it anyway. It's better to just act in despite of your fears. But I would say like I'm more used to it because I have been in like the public a lot in terms of like I used to play professional basketball. So playing sports all your life, you kind of get attention, you know, when you're playing your sport in the, you know, from the crowd and everything like that. So I'm pretty used to being on stage, if you want to call it, whether it be for the good or bad feedback, having a good game, having a bad game, whatever the case may be. I'm kind of used to it. Obviously, talking to a camera is different because you're not getting live feedback, although I do plan to do lives in the future, coming soon. So I will get live feedback. But you know, people are afraid to talk on camera, and I get it. And it's weird because you are talking to an inanimate object, and you know, people are gonna say things on the opposite end once you do post. So with all that being said, a faceless channel can really be your best option. And it could be a really, really good way for you to get started on YouTube because there is a lot of ways to enter the creator economy, and you know, obviously showing your face, if you're not comfortable with it, faceless channel is one of the best ways. Now, another thing with a faceless channel is that you're pretty much able to create whatever identity that you want to create because you're not showing yourself. So I guess this could be good or bad, but you could kind of create like the identity that you want because you're putting the information out there, or you're putting the content out there that you want to show to people, and it's not necessarily in relation to you. It may be, it may not be. It depends on what type of videos that you're making, what type of content you're putting out there. But another thing is that you don't have to worry about people finding you like professionally. Like, you know, if you're really controversial on YouTube and you're showing your face, then obviously if you're applying to jobs, then that might affect your career path per se. But if you're faceless, then nobody knows who's behind the camera, or I should say who's behind the stock images in your videos. So you can protect your professional image. You have the flexibility of working in multiple niches if you are doing a faceless channel, because you're not necessarily tied to one niche. Like, you know, when you're showing your face, you kind of become an expert in the field that you're talking about, and people kind of look to you as that. But if you are going from like one niche to another niche, you can do that easily with a faceless channel because they won't know who is attached to the channel. They don't know who's attached to this particular topic that you've been talking about. So you can hop into the next niche and not have any attachment to the previous niche or your previous channel. And another pro of a faceless YouTube channel is that you can scale it a lot easier, because the bottleneck of a YouTube channel that shows your face is that you are the bottleneck. Like, I can't make any videos without me being in it, because my channel is like me. Like, I'm the brand behind my channel. So like, if you guys saw somebody else replace me in my videos, you would be like really confused. A lot of people would probably stop watching. But with a faceless channel, they were never attached to anybody in the first place. They're just attached to, you know, the delivering of the content per se. So you can kind of just scale, and because you'll be using video editors, you'll be using thumbnail people, you'll be using people to just help you manage the channel, you can scale a faceless channel a lot easier because you are not necessarily needed for the business to, or for the channel to grow. Now, the cons of a faceless channel, as I mentioned before, that people don't really relate to brands, which is why like these big brands will always use celebrities and different athletes to promote their products, because they know that a person has to be attached to it. Like Kanye being attached to Adidas was able to like make billions of dollars because Kanye was attached to Adidas. People felt like they could relate to Kanye West. You get what I mean? I don't know if they can feel like they can relate to Kanye as much anymore right now, but I still love Kanye. But anyway, you have to attach a brand or a face to a brand at some point if you're trying to become bigger. So it is a little bit harder, but again, you can build a pretty big brand with a Faceless channel, but it's probably going to take longer because it's going to be harder to gain traction because because people aren't directly relating to a person. But you choose your hard. Faceless channels and channels that show your face are both hard to grow. And it got really dark. It seems like kind of cinematic in my room right now because it's thundering outside, or it's about to thunder. It kind of looks cool right now. And another con is that you might run into copyright issues. This is why you have to really make sure that the stock images, videos, and the music that you're using are all you're able to license all of those, because if you're not, you can run into issues where YouTube will ban your video or remove your video because they don't want you basically you have to have the rights to use the assets that you want to use basically. So you're probably asking why I haven't started a Faceless channel, and that's because I have a face channel because I don't mind showing my face, as I mentioned before. Used to getting criticism from playing sports, so you kind of develop a little bit of thick skin. But I also feel like I personally digest content way more from YouTube channels that show their face than YouTube channels that don't. I follow people. I don't follow like brands or anything like that. Like, I follow people because I feel like there's something that they're saying, or there's something that they're doing, or there's something about them that I can relate to. They don't even have to be like from the same race or whatever the case may be, but sometimes even if they are from the same race or the same ethnicity, I can relate to them on that level, or they could be a different race and they maybe have had a similar experience to me. I can relate to them on that level. So it's different ways that we relate to each other as humans. So I prefer just showing my face. But again, if you don't want to show your face, you have a Faceless channel as an option. But if you like this video, then I'm sure you'll like this video up next.